You're listening to the Daily Dose of English, where we help you improve your English one step at a time.
And today, embarking on a journey into the fascinating world of English idioms. You know, those phrases that don't really make a literal sense, but somehow everyone understands them, like saying something was a piece of cake when, there's no actual cake involved. These expressions are honestly key to sounding more natural and confident in English. We've gathered insights from a really wonderful guide for English learners, and our mission today is basically to help you unlock the power of 15 essential idioms. We'll explore what they mean, see them in some real-life examples, and importantly, give you a chance to practice using them yourself. So let's begin our deep dive. Ready for the first one? Okay. Our first idiom is the best of both worlds.
Right. The best of both worlds. This phrase pops up when you get to enjoy two good things at the same time. Often things that might seem, opposite, or things you'd normally have to choose between. It's like a really fortunate situation where you don't have to compromise. For example, maybe she loves her online studies because she can travel anywhere while learning. That's truly the best of both worlds.
Oh, nice.
Or you could imagine someone saying, my friend got a new job that pays well and lets him work from home, giving him more family time. He's really got the best of both worlds.
That sounds absolutely ideal, doesn't it? It's not just about having two good things, like you said, but that specific kind of perfect balance where you might usually expect to choose. It implies maybe a real sense of satisfaction or good fortune. Avoiding a trade-off.
Precisely. Yeah, it really captures that feeling of having it all, without any big compromise. It's a very positive expression, always used to convey contentment, delight in a situation. You wouldn't really use this if you were just sort of tolerating two things. It's about genuine enjoyment of both.
Okay, makes sense. Let's put this into practice then. Try saying this sentence with me, nice and clearly. I get the best of both worlds. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time. I get the best of both worlds.
You've got it. That's a wonderful idiom. Really expresses that ultimate satisfaction.
That's definitely a feeling we all aspire to. And speaking of things, appearing just when you mention them, that brings us neatly to our next idiom. Speak of the devil.
Ah, yes. This is a fun one. Very informal. It basically means the person you were just talking about suddenly appears, or maybe calls. Often quite unexpectedly.
Right.
It's usually a lighthearted expression like surprise. For instance, wow, we were just talking about you speak of the devil. What a coincidence.
Happens all the time.
Or maybe I was just about to call her. Hey, speak of the devil. She's calling me right now.
It's that moment of unexpected synchronicity, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the informal nature you mentioned is key, I think. You probably wouldn't use this in a, say, very formal business meeting.
No, probably not.
Unless maybe you have a really close and relaxed relationship with your colleagues, perhaps.
Good point. Yeah.
It's maybe best kept for casual chats.
Yeah.
Friends, family.
Exactly. That's a crucial point. It's conversational, friendly, not something you'd write in a formal email, for instance. Just adds that little touch of humor and casual surprise to a situation.
Okay, great. Let's try saying this one then. Take a breath and repeat after me. Speak of the devil. Pause for listener to repeat. Again, speak of the devil.
Excellent. A very common phrase. And catchy. Good one to use with friends.
Okay, from unexpected appearances, let's move to finding common ground. Our third idiom is see eye to eye.
Right. See eye to eye. This idiom means to agree with someone. Simple as that, really. It's about having the same opinion, the same perspective on something. You might hear someone say, we don't always see eye to eye on politics, but, we respect each other's views.
Respect is key there.
Or perhaps, my friend and I totally see eye to eye on classic movies. We both love exactly the same ones.
This idiom feels a bit deeper than just saying, yes, I agree, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It sort of implies a shared understanding, an alignment of thought, maybe.
Right.
And you can also use it quite commonly, actually, to express disagreement by saying you don't see eye to eye.
That's a good distinction, yeah. It really does describe a kind of meeting of minds. When you see eye to eye, it suggests your thoughts, your opinions are in harmony, often on a specific topic or a decision.
Got it. Ready to put this into practice, everyone? Your turn. We see eye to eye. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time. We see eye to eye.
Fantastic. That's a really great way to describe agreement. Very useful.
Okay, so some things happen often, right? But then there are those really rare moments. Our fourth idiom captures those infrequent events just perfectly. Once in a blue moon.
Ah, once in a blue moon. This phrase describes something that happens very, very rarely. Almost never. It has nothing to do with the actual moon turning blue, of course.
Right, good point.
It just evokes that sense of extreme infrequency. For example, he visits his old hometown maybe once in a blue moon now that he lives so far away.
Poor guy.
Or maybe someone says, I cook a big meal from scratch, like once in a blue moon. I definitely prefer quick dinners or takeout.
Huh. I know that feeling. This idiom is wondrously descriptive, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It immediately conveys just how seldom something occurs. It's quite vivid. A great way to emphasize rarity, sometimes with a hint of maybe wishing it happened more often, or just playful resignation. You could use it to exaggerate a bit too, I suppose.
Yes, exactly. It's about that exceptional occurrence, something really out of the ordinary in its timing. It paints a very clear picture of infrequency for whoever you're talking to.
Okay, let's say it together. Repeat after me. I do that once in a blue moon. Pause for listener to repeat. And again, I do that once in a blue moon.
Very good. That's a classic, a really common way to talk about rare events.
All right, so if once in a blue moon means rarely, our fifth idiom takes it, well, a big step further to never, when pigs fly.
Huh. Yes, this one's quite humorous and often sarcastic. It means something that will absolutely, positively never happen. An impossibility.
Zero chance.
Exactly. You use it when you're being highly skeptical or maybe just dismissive of an idea. For instance, if someone asks, do you think our boss will give us all next week off? You might chuckle and say,
Maybe when pigs fly.
precisely. Or, my teenager will clean her room without being asked. Yeah, right. When pigs fly.
It's such a fun way to express utter disbelief, isn't it? Just to say, no way, with a bit of a smile.
Mm-hmm.
The image itself, a pig flying, it's so absurd that it perfectly conveys that impossibility. It's often used to kind of poke fun or maybe lighten the mood, even if the answer underneath is a firm no.
Exactly right. It's a strong, emphatic way to say never, but like you said, it avoids being rude because it's inherently playful and absurd. It's a very, very common response to an unlikely suggestion.
Okay, let's try this funny one. Repeat after me. When pigs fly. Pause for a listener to repeat. One more. When pigs fly.
Excellent. You nailed that sense of playful impossibility there. Good job.
Okay, from unlikely scenarios, let's talk about things that are incredibly expensive. Our sixth idiom is cost an arm and a leg.
Ah, yes. Cost an arm and a leg. This idiom is used when something is very, very expensive, so costly it feels like you'd practically have to give up something vital, like a limb, to afford it.
Thankfully, not literally.
Thankfully not. It just highlights a significant financial burden. For example, wow, that new sports car must cost an arm and a leg. I could never afford something like that. And maybe my new phone cost me an arm and a leg, but it's essential for my work, so I guess it was worth it.
Yeah, it's all about that exorbitant price, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It often carries a feeling of shock or maybe a mild complaint about the expense. Or sometimes even pride, I suppose, if you did manage to buy something so costly. It implies a big sacrifice to purchase.
That's right. It emphasizes a huge financial outlay. It suggests the item is, maybe, disproportionately expensive compared to its value, or just way beyond typical budgets. It's a really vivid image for a high price tag.
Okay, let's practice saying this one together. Clearly now. It costs an arm and a leg. Pause for listener to repeat. Again, it costs an arm and a leg.
Great job. That's a very, very common way to describe a big purchase. You'll hear that a lot.
Okay, from expensive things, let's move to things that are surprisingly simple. Our seventh idiom, a piece of cake.
A piece of cake? This just means something is incredibly easy to do, perhaps even easier than you expected it to be. It's a very positive, very common expression.
Like eating cake is easy.
Maybe that's the idea. For example, I was really worried about the math test, but honestly, It was a piece of cake. Or cooking pasta. Oh, that's a piece of cake for anyone who just follows the instructions.
This idiom feels like it doesn't just mean easy, though. It often implies it was surprisingly easy, right? Or effortlessly easy.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Maybe simpler than you anticipated, like a positive exclamation of simplicity, a sense of relief, perhaps.
Exactly. Relief, maybe even triumph. It conveys that feeling of lightheartedness, a lack of struggle, often used after completing something with unexpected ease.
Okay, ready for your turn? Say this. That was a piece of cake. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time. That was a piece of cake.
Excellent. And that one felt like a piece of cake for you, I'm sure. Easy peasy.
Definitely. All right, our next idiom, number 8, is all about secrets. Let the cat out of the bag.
Let the cat out of the bag. This idiom means to reveal a secret, but usually by accident. You can imagine a secret being carefully kept inside a bag, and then whoops, it's suddenly let loose for everyone to see. For example, oh, oops, I accidentally let the cat out of the bag about Sarah's surprise party when I mentioned it to her brother.
Oh no, ruined the surprise.
Exactly. Or he meant to keep the big news totally quiet, but he let the cat out of the bag during an excited phone call.
So the key thing here seems to be revealing a secret by accident, right? Often clumsily.
Yes.
Rather than intentional leaking it, it's that oops moment when you realize you've said too much, or someone else has.
Yes, precisely. The key is the accidental nature.
Okay.
It's not about deliberately leaking information, but more like an innocent slip-up that results in the secret becoming known. Might cause a bit of trouble or spoil a surprise.
Right, got it.
Yeah.
Let's try this phrase. Repeat after me. I let the cat out of the bag. Pause for listener to repeat.
Yeah.
And again, I let the cat out of the bag.
Good job. A very common expression for accidentally revealing something useful to know.
Speaking of things you might want to keep to yourself, maybe like not feeling great, our 9th idiom is a gentle way to talk about that. Feel under the weather.
Feel under the weather. Yes, this is a very polite and widely understood way to say you're not feeling well. Usually it means just a little sick or unwell, not seriously ill.
Right, not major.
Just mild discomfort. Perhaps a cold starting or a headache or just feeling a bit off. For instance, I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so I think I'll probably work from home. Or she stayed home from school because she was feeling under the weather with a slight fever.
It's a fantastic idiom for, say, professional settings, isn't it? Or just anytime you want to be a bit discreet about your health.
Absolutely.
Instead of listing all your symptoms, you can just say you're under the weather, and people generally understand you're not quite at your best. It implies something temporary, mild, doesn't need a lot of explanation.
Precisely. It's very polite, very understated. Describes being indisposed without going into potentially uncomfortable details. That's why it's so useful in so many social contexts.
Okay, let's practice this useful one. Say it with me. I'm under the weather. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time. I'm under the weather.
You've got it. Hope you're not actually feeling under the weather today, though.
Me too.
Okay.
Now for something more efficient, getting things done. Our 10th idiom is kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. This expression means to accomplish 2 different things at the same time, often with just a single action or effort. It's all about maximizing efficiency, getting more done with less.
Smart working.
Exactly. For example, I studied for my exam while listening to a podcast about the topic. Perfect! I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. And maybe walking to the store to get groceries and getting my daily exercise in, that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
It's a really powerful idiom for describing effective multitasking, isn't it? It implies a certain cleverness maybe in planning or doing a task that gives you a double benefit. It feels like a very positive phrase, highlights resourcefulness, smart thinking.
Absolutely. It conveys that sense of productivity and cleverness, being strategic, making the most of your time and effort. It's often used when you find a neat solution that solves multiple problems at once.
Great. Okay, time for your practice. Repeat after me. Killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Pause for listener to repeat. Again, killed 2 birds with 1 stone.
Well done. That's a very practical idiom. You can probably use that one quite a bit in daily life.
Okay, but not all shortcuts are good ones, right? And our 11th idiom warns against taking the wrong kind. Cut corners.
Ah, yes. Cut corners. This means to do something too quickly and often badly by skipping important steps, or maybe using cheaper materials than you should, or just doing less than what's really needed.
So sacrificing quality.
Exactly. It implies a lack of thoroughness, usually for the sake of speed or maybe saving effort or money, and it often leads to a lower quality outcome. For example, they really cut corners when they built that house, and now there are serious problems with the roof.
Oh dear.
Or a teacher might say, don't cut corners on your homework. Always try to do your best work.
It's a really critical idiom to understand, I think, because it carries such a strong negative meaning.
It does.
It implies a deliberate choice to reduce quality or effort for, expediency or cost savings, often with bad consequences down the line. It's like a warning against shoddy work.
That's right. It suggests a compromise on standards, maybe even integrity. You'll hear this used when people are frustrated by a lack of quality, or maybe when discussing ethical issues in business or projects.
Okay, let's practice this important phrase. Your turn. Don't cut corners. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time. Don't cut corners.
Perfect. A very clear and important piece of advice, that one.
Right. Now, sometimes one bad thing happens, and then something else comes along and makes it even worse. That unfortunate situation is captured by our 12th idiom. Add insult to injury.
Add insult to injury. Yes, this idiom means to make an already bad situation even worse, often by doing something else that is offensive or harmful or just plain aggravating.
Like pouring salt on a wound, as they say.
Exactly that feeling. For instance, first, he lost his wallet, which was awful, and then, to add insult to injury, his car broke down on the way home.
Ouch. Bad day.
Or, I failed the test, and then, to add insult to injury, I realized I had forgotten to study the most important chapter entirely.
Oh, that's painful. It really emphasizes how one misfortune or mistake can be compounded, made worse by another one, doesn't it? Makes an already tough situation even more frustrating or painful, like a double blow, or just a continuation of bad luck. Often feels a bit unfair.
Yes, it highlights that secondary action or event that just intensifies the initial suffering or problem. It captures that feeling of, exasperation when things just keep going wrong, or sometimes when someone does something else, maybe even intentionally, to cause more harm or upset.
Okay, let's try saying this together. Slowly. Say, to add insult to injury. Pause for listener to repeat. Again, to add insult to injury.
Great job. It captures a difficult situation very well. Hopefully you won't need to use it too often.
Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Okay, our 13th idiom for today is a real piece of wisdom. You can't judge a book by its cover.
Ah, classic. You can't judge a book by its cover. This wise saying means simply you shouldn't judge people or things just by their appearance alone, because, well, looks can be deceiving, can't they?
They certainly can.
It encourages us to look beyond those superficial first impressions. For example, he may look quite serious and quiet, but actually he's incredibly fun and has a great sense of humor. You really can't judge a book by its cover. Or, that restaurant looked very plain, almost run down from the outside, but the food inside was absolutely amazing. You really can't judge a book by its cover.
This idiom is so powerful, I think, because it reminds us about the importance of depth over, just surface appearances. It's a call for open-mindedness, isn't it? Encourages us to get to know someone or something more deeply before we form an opinion. Applies to people, places, even ideas.
Absolutely. It's a timeless reminder, really. Be cautious of first impressions, as they often don't tell the whole story. It promotes a more maybe empathetic and thorough understanding of the world around us.
Very true. Let's practice this valuable idiom. Repeat after me. Don't judge a book by its cover. Pause for listener to repeat. One more time. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Fantastic. A very important life lesson, all wrapped up in a common idiom.
Indeed. Now, for our 14th idiom, we have a really common phrase used for encouragement. Break a leg.
Break a leg. Yes, this is a classic and slightly funny way to say good luck. especially used right before a performance, like a play or concert, or maybe an important event like an exam or a big challenge.
Right, like before going on stage.
Exactly. You might hear it backstage, definitely. Or from a friend before a major job interview. For example, okay, you've got this interview, you're totally prepared, now just go in there and break a leg. Or before your big speech tonight, just remember to take a deep breath and, break a leg.
It sounds a bit scary if you take it literally, doesn't it? Break a leg.
It does.
But it's actually meant to be incredibly encouraging.
Yeah.
The origin is often tied to theater superstitions, I believe.
That's right.
Where wishing good luck directly was thought to actually brought bad luck. So wishing someone to break a leg was like a quirky way to trick fate.
Yeah.
It's a friendly, enthusiastic kind of send-off.
That's a great point about the origin. It adds that extra layer of fun to the phrase, and it's almost always used before an event as that boost of confidence. You'd never really say it after something has happened.
Good point. Okay, ready to say it with us? Try this. Break a leg. Pause for the listener to repeat. One more. Break a leg.
Excellent. You'll definitely hear that one a lot in everyday English. Very useful.
Okay, and finally, for our 15th idiom today, we have one that describes perfect accuracy. Hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head. This means to say exactly the right thing, or to describe a situation perfectly, absolutely accurately, like you found the precise truth, or you've identified the core issue perfectly.
Got it spot on.
Exactly. For instance, when you said our team needs much better communication, wow, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly our biggest problem. Or I was feeling so exhausted, and when my friend looked at me and said I looked like I hadn't slept in days, he really hit the nail on the head.
It's a wonderfully vivid metaphor, isn't it? Instantly conveys that precision and correctness. You use it when someone has articulated something with such clarity and truth that there's really nothing more to add. It implies real understanding or insight.
Exactly. It's about getting something absolutely spot on, showing keen observation, or just a perfect grasp of the situation. It's a strong way to affirm someone's accuracy.
Okay, let's practice our very last idiom for today. Now you try. You hit the nail on the head. Pause for listener to repeat. One last time. You hit the nail on the head. Perfect. You absolutely hit the nail on the head with that one. Well done. And just like that, wow, we've wrapped up our deep dive into these 15 essential English idioms. We really hope going through them slowly with the examples and the practice has helped you feel, well, much more confident about understanding them and hopefully using them too. Remember, mastering these expressions truly is it's a game changer for your English fluency and your confidence in daily chats.
Absolutely. And the more you engage with these idioms, hear them, think about them, the more natural they'll become for you. Maybe think about it. Which of these idioms do you tend to hear most often in your daily life? Or which one did you find the most surprising today? Perhaps the story behind break a leg resonated, or maybe when pigs fly just made you chuckle. Now, here's a little challenge, maybe. How can you try to use just one of them? Just one, in a real conversation sometime this week. The actual act of using them, even just once, will really help cement them in your memory and make them feel more natural for you. Don't be afraid to try. Seriously.
That's brilliant advice, and so true. Your confidence will definitely grow with every single idiom you try out. So keep smiling, stay curious, and most importantly, keep practicing your English with confidence. Until our next deep dive, take care, everyone.